Thanks. I nodded at her with a blank expression, then turned to Yukino Tang with a smile. I'm going to the front. You and Professor Jiang should go back too. Good luck, husband, Yukino Tang said, then summoned her courage and gave me a kiss on the cheek in front of everyone, declaring her ownership. Not a chance anyone else is competing with me. Next, let's welcome Sato from Finance Class 2 to bring us a Gukin solo, cherry blossoms stained with ink. After the host announced the program, a stir went through the crowd. During this time, my name had been mentioned countless times on the school forum. Even those who didn't follow the forum knew about the junior student who had bagged the school's goddess teacher, Yukino Tang. Sato is so handsome. It's Sato. 2 staff members quickly brought out my guqin. As they retreated, the stage lights dimmed. I stepped from behind the curtain, sat down at the guqin, and as the other lights went out, a spotlight fell on me. I placed my hands on the strings and plucked. At first, many were just watching me, but soon, more and more people were drawn in by the sound. Even the professors from the music department closed their eyes, their souls seeming to leave their bodies, drifting into a world where cherry blossoms were in full bloom. As the performance continued, an old music professor actually moistened his eyes. He didn't know much about young people's pop culture, but he could hear a deep, bone-piercing sadness in the piece. If the professor felt this way, the students who loved anime, especially those who knew the story behind the piece, were even more devastated. Finally, I finished. I pressed down on the strings, the music stopping abruptly. The venue was silent. Whether it was the audience, the students watching from backstage, or even the host, they all forgot everything for a moment. By the time they came back to their senses, I had already disappeared from the stage. After a moment of silence, a roar erupted. This is the Yuyuko I have in my heart! Sato, I love you! Various shouts nearly blew the roof off the auditorium. The president and leaders of Jiaotong University in the front row were shocked. This is terrifying. After playing, I gestured toward Yukino Tang and headed straight out of the hall. Seeing my gesture, Yukino Tang reacted immediately, waking up Jiang and Yuan. Leaving the hall, she was still feeling a bit shaken. When everyone reunited outside, a roar suddenly erupted from the hall, startling everyone. Yukino Tang patted her chest. If they hadn't left early, they would have been surrounded by those students. It's all because of your husband? Yuan rolled her eyes at Yukino Tang. Seriously, Professor Tang, I'm so envious of you. Just now backstage, Jiang was being reckless, telling Yukino Tang how envious she was. Yuan felt the same way, but Yuan was nearly 40. Her mindset was more mature, so she hadn't expressed all her inner thoughts. With the babies, everyone returned to the parking lot. I put them in their car seats. Professor Jiang, Professor Yuan, Yukino and I are heading back now. What about you two? Jiang and Yuan looked at each other and nodded. We're going back too. Looking at it, the rest of the performances don't seem worth watching. At that moment, the system's voice rang out. Congratulations to the host for completing the first task of taking the babies to a performance. Reward: 63% equity in Shangxi Entertainment. Wow! Even though I didn't pay much attention to the entertainment industry, I knew Shangxi Entertainment was the biggest media group in China, with countless studios and artists. The hit shows on major satellite channels and big-budget films all had Shangxi Entertainment's shadow behind them. Now I owned 63% of it. Husband, what's wrong? Scared by what just happened? Yukino Tang looked at me with concern. Nothing. I shifted gears and turned the corner, feeling somewhat numb. This wealth is unstoppable. Just as I drove Yukino Tang out of school, my phone rang. Hello, is this Mr. Sato? My husband is driving. Who are you? Yukino Tang answered the phone for me. Unexpectedly for Zie, it was a beautiful female voice. Even though she wasn't there, she bowed quickly. Oh, my apologies, Mrs. Sato. Hello, madam. I am Shi, the CEO of Shangxi Entertainment. Shangxi Entertainment? Husband, some guy is calling saying he's the CEO of Shangxi Entertainment. Z? He's not a scammer. Wife, put it on speaker. Jie was shocked. Judging by the voice, this was just a young man. His attitude became even more respectful. Hello, Chairman Sato. Congratulations on becoming the largest shareholder of Shangxi Entertainment. I'm bothering you to ask if you have any instructions or plans for our work moving forward. Handle it yourself. Wait, wife, what kind of shows do you like to watch? Let me think. Anything that isn't those random dramas with actingless idols is fine. I understand. I turned to the phone. Ziye, Did you hear that? In the future, shoot more good dramas, use fewer flow idols, and shoot more positive energy shows. Understand? Yes, yes, we will follow your instructions. Xie wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, his heart racing to the point of suffocation. I'm hanging up. I'll visit the company when I have time. I hung up. Yukino Tang turned her head and stared at me. My husband is too mysterious? He's the chairman of some group? Being stared at by my wife's bright eyes, I bit my lip helplessly. What's wrong? Smitten by your husband's handsomeness again? Piffed. Yukino Tang couldn't maintain her serious expression. But after laughing, she thought of the doubt she had. Husband, is that guy really the CEO of Shangxi Entertainment? I blinked. Probably. The equity was given by the system. I haven't really met this CEO. Then why did he call you chairman? You're the chairman of Shangxi Entertainment? Husband, you aren't the illegitimate son of some rich mogul, are you? Haven't I been playing the stock market? I bought it and just held on to it without selling. A bit by bit, I became the chairman. Would you believe me if I said that? Do you think I'd believe that? I'm a university teacher, you know. Yukino Tang gave me a look of disdain. Okay, let me think of another reason to trick you. Husband! Yukino Tang was furious. If I wasn't driving, she would have pounced on me. Seeing her expression, I turned serious. Actually, I bought the shares from the largest shareholder of Shangxi Entertainment. Gulp. Yukino Tang swallowed hard. Even if she didn't know what it was worth, she knew it had to be a staggering amount. Yukino Tang asked cautiously, Husband, you aren't actually running a weapon smuggling ring, are you? That's right. Not only do I smuggle, but I also take on all kinds of business, such as dusting orbital satellites, polishing and waxing nuclear warheads, and painting aircraft carriers. Does wifey want to place an order? Yukino Tang was both amused and annoyed. How had she never noticed this humorous side of her husband before? Saying that I had teased my wife enough, I shook my head and said, Don't worry, I haven't done anything illegal. Otherwise, with such a massive flow of funds, your husband would have been locked up long ago. Husband? I believe you. Yukino Tang nodded and stopped questioning where such a large amount of money came from. She knew I had my secrets. Ever since she reunited with me, I had displayed an almost omnipotent demeanor in front of Yukino Tang. Whether it was making money, taking care of the babies, or doing anything else, it seemed that once I reappeared in her life, Yukino Tang lost all her worries. Oh wait, there was one worry she hadn't lost. In fact, it was growing larger. Her husband's charm was simply too terrifying, to the point where she had to remain vigilant at all times. As a woman herself, Yukino Tang knew exactly how deadly of an attraction a man like me held for women on the outside. But thinking about it from another angle, didn't this just prove how outstanding her husband and the father of her children was? Husband, will you one day stop wanting me and the babies? I'll make sure to go before you, I said, squinting at Yukino Tang. That way you won't be sad because I left this world first. Do you really think I'd abandon you? Yukino Tang's mouth opened slightly. Her husband was really something else. Did he have to throw such a sudden straight ball? Her little heart was pounding wildly. Her eyes quickly filled with moisture. Yukino Tang parted her lips, her voice becoming incredibly sweet. Husband, I love you so much. Driving the car, I let out a slight sigh of relief. Phew, I managed to muddle through. Good thing this girl didn't probe deeper, otherwise I wouldn't know how to handle it. That night, under the comforting and cozy warm-toned lights of the bedroom, after feeding our 3 little angels, I coaxed them to sleep. Only then did I turn to sit in front of the computer. I was checking my recent stock market gains. Although the system had rewarded me with plenty of assets, like shares in JP Morgan and Shangxi Entertainment, those were stocks and bonds that couldn't be cashed out in the short term. I wasn't stupid enough to liquidate those, but as time went on, my liquid capital had rolled up to over 20 million. I continued as before, picking the stocks with the sharpest short-term gains, going all in with a single transaction, and then clearing my position when the time was right. Yukino Tang, having finished her bath, appeared behind me with a puff of heat and fragrance, wrapping her arms around my back. Husband, what are you doing? I chuckled. Making pocket money for you. If a husband doesn't work hard, how can I buy pretty clothes for my wife? And how will the babies have money to buy formula? Thank you, husband. After a quick peck, Yukino Tang smiled and asked, How much did you make? Is 20 million enough? When the time comes, I'll let you buy. Whatever you like, just swipe the card. Don't worry about the money. Yukino Tang's mouth twitched slightly. Fine, she felt she should be used to the things I pulled from time to time. She wasn't as shocked by such a large sum of money as she had been before. But soon, she gently turned my body around so I was looking at her. Husband, do you like it? My eyes gradually darkened. Yukino Tang was wearing a beautiful pajama set. When did you buy this? I love it. Ah, men really are like that. But as long as her husband liked it, the clothes were worth the purchase. The next day was the weekend. After breakfast, I would take Yukino Tang and push the babies in their stroller to wander around the Jinyu Mansion complex. After a while, many residents in the complex recognized this couple with their godlike looks and their 3 adorable babies who could melt anyone's heart. A while later, passing a garden, Yukino Tang suddenly saw a little girl skipping along while holding a cat. What a cute kitty, Yukino Tang exclaimed. Husband, let's get a cat, okay? I looked at Yukino Tang with amusement. Are you sure? The babies are so young. What if they're allergic to cat hair? As soon as I said that, Yukino Tang scolded herself. The babies were the priority. Thinking of this, she had to suppress the thought. Seeing the dejected look on my darling wife's face, I waved at the little girl ahead. Little one, can you come here for a moment? The little girl turned her head at the sound of my voice, then skipped closer with a smile, her braids bouncing behind her head. Uncle, sister, is something the matter? Why am I the uncle and she's the Ren sister? Is there really that big of a difference in our ages? That's weird. Yukino Tang, standing beside me, bent over with laughter. It seemed she was still quite young in the little girl's eyes, even though she was already a mother of 3. The little girl stuck out her tongue, seeming to realize she had made a mistake, and quickly changed it to big brother, big sister. What a sweet mouth that child has, I said. It's like this, little one. You see, we have babies, and some babies can be allergic to cats and dogs. So I'd like to borrow your cat to test if the babies are allergic. If they aren't, we'll go buy a cat to raise. Can you help us? Of course I can. The little girl nodded and handed over the kitten. Okay, big brother. Dudu is very well behaved, but you still have to be careful. Thank you, little one. I smiled and took the kitten from her. It was a beautiful white kitten, very cute. I carefully controlled the kitten's limbs and brought it slightly closer to the babies in the stroller, wanting to see if they would react to the pet hair. Upon seeing the animal approaching, the eldest baby curiously reached out to grab it. It seemed the baby really liked this cute little animal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reached out. I quickly moved the kitten further away. After testing for a while, I noticed no signs of sneezing, so I carefully let the 3 babies touch the kitten's fur. After observing for another while and confirming there was no redness on their skin, I returned the kitten to the little girl. Very good. It seems the babies aren't allergic. Thank you, little one. You're welcome, big brother and big sister. After you get a cat, can you bring it out for me to see? The little girl asked, eyes wide with anticipation. Yukino Tang and I looked at each other and smiled. Of course, when we get a cat, we'll bring it down to play with you too. The little girl blinked happily. My name is Sun Yu Duo. My parents call me Duo Duo. After saying goodbye to Duo Duo, Yukino Tang immediately grabbed my arm. Husband, can we raise a cat now? Sure we can. But it's better not to take the babies to the pet store. How about this? You don't have class tomorrow afternoon, so you stay home with the babies, and I'll go buy it. Okay? Yukino Tang was so happy she stood on her tiptoes and kissed me. Her husband was so good to her. She wanted a pet cat, and he could solve it right away. My wife, Yukino Tang, had just returned to the office after class when she saw Jiang with her arms raised, cheering. Jiang, what's up? So happy? It's the New Year's holiday. I've been prepared to go out and have fun for a long time. The flight tickets are already booked. The school is giving us 3 days off. Hearing this, Yukino Tang's heart stirred. With 3 days off, should she go out for a trip with her husband and the babies? The babies were almost 4 months old now. 4-month-old babies couldn't fly on planes yet, and traveling still meant having Sato drive the RV, so long-distance travel was naturally out of the question. Going out for fun? That night, I heard Yukino Tang's suggestion and immediately became interested. That's not a bad idea. Where do you want to go? I think traveling around the nearby areas is enough. If it's too far, we'll just waste time on the road. Just as she finished speaking, Yukino Tang's phone rang. She took out her phone, looked at it, and a trace of joy appeared on her face. Hello, Yanyan. What? You're back in the country? I thought you were planning to develop your career abroad, coming to see me during the New Year's break. Yukino Tang looked at me hesitantly. She had originally wanted to travel with her husband and kids, but now her plans were likely going to fall through. I understood Yukino Tang's helplessness.